With that, ladies and gentlemen, before I move further, let me remind you all that Twitter is very quiet. So we need to ensure that we get Twitter going. So let's do more hashtags, let's do more tweets. Let's see more Twitterati coming to the fore and putting up their thoughts, views about the sessions that you're all sitting and watching. Don't forget the hashtags, hashtag NTLF 2019 and nasscom_TLF. Also remember, there's the selfie contest because we can't do that live. Let's do this on virtual reality and let's tweet our selfies away on the Twitter handle. With that, ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the last session of the day. This session is titled Hyperscaling in the Black Swan Event Like a Pandemic. While no one predicted the pandemic, the disruption affected companies of all sizes. While we agree that there couldn't be a foolproof plan, there is a way businesses and startups which boosted and showed resilience during the crisis could future-proof themselves and sustain growth in the new normal. Hear from the leader who has seen the changing business dynamics in the virtual world and plans for the next normal. Eric is Yuan, founder and chief executive Zoom, in conversation with Brian Carvalho, editor Forbes India. Eric founded Zoom in 2011 to deliver happiness and bring teams together in a frictionless video environment. Zoom's video-first unified communications platform continues to dramatically transform the way leading global enterprises communicate. A quick introduction to our chair. Brian is the group editor of the publishing business of the Network 18 Group. He edits Forbes India. Prior to this, he led features at Economic Times and edited the eclectic Sunday product called the Economic Times magazine. Over to you, Brian. Take it away.
Thank you, Shreya, for the introduction, and thank you, Eric, for making the time for this chat. Let me begin with how this journey began for you. What made you make the move to Silicon Valley and work on video conferencing and collaboration software?
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me. And the story was that when I was traveling in Japan back in 1995, and I was joining, an industry show, and Bill Gates, Microsoft former co-founder CEO, he was there to give the audience a keynote speech about internet. I was so inspired by his speech, back then. And after I traveled back, from Japan, I decided, I should move to Silicon Valley to embrace the first wave of internet revolution. I joined WebEx in 1997 as one of the first several founding engineers. The co-founder and the CEO was Subra Iyer, and he's from India. And even today is my great mentor. I joined WebEx. WebEx was a data collaboration company. The Zoom is more like a next generation of WebEx, the video conferencing company. So that's kind of my journey. And I'm stuck on the video conferencing or data conferencing. So.
Sure. Okay. And after the stint at WebEx, what was it that was burning inside you that you decided that you wanted to start up something like Zoom?
Yeah. So I was a part of the original WebEx team. I did not think about leaving, a WebEx because my goal is, or at least my first dream is to grow WebEx revenue to $1 billion revenue, and then I'm going to leave to do something else. But back then, every day when I talked with a WebEx customer, I did not see a single happy customer. So every day I was not happy. I know actually I cannot fix that problem because I failed to convince others to build a new solution from the ground up, because back then in the big company, Cisco, a lot of other priorities. So finally I decided to leave, to build a new solution to bring happiness back to WebEx customers. That's how I started. Yeah.
Okay. And tell us about those early days at the startup. I mean, you went to investors who probably were not so impressed with their business model. They thought of you as just another Me Too video conferencing company, right? So what was the differentiator of Zoom from the others in the market?
Yeah, so Brian, when I started, I thought it should be easy or straightforward for me to raise money, right, to start. I was completely wrong because, a lot of investors told me that the market was so crowded, and how can you put it out? What's your key differentiation, right? I told them I want to build a better service in terms of ease of use, quality. I do not think that they got convinced. So one of my friends, like all those WebEx, the executive, the former leaders like Subra or other friends, they invested in me. That's how I started. And you are so right. And the market was very crowded, but I truly believe if we can build a better solution than any other solutions out there, we can at least we can survive.
Okay, let's kind of fast forward to 2020 and the pandemic, right? I mean, that was a growth phase that Zoom experienced, which probably you might have not imagined, right? So can you kind of describe the growth phase to us? What was it like for you?
Yeah, so year 2020 is it was a crazy year. So on many fronts, you look at our growth. You look at December of 2019 in terms of daily meeting participants. The peak day it was around 10 million, and back to last March, April, more than 30 times more, 300 or 350 million. And how to serve those new users from all around the world? Take India for example. So you look at the January of last year, or and the March, April last year. In terms of a free user sign up, it's almost 70 times more. Right? This is crazy growth. So we have to work very hard to add more capacity to really care about the customers. We worked so hard around the clock for several months.
Yeah. Okay. Let's come to 2021, and we have the vaccines that are out there, and hopefully things are improving, right? So in a post-vaccine, post-pandemic world of hybrid working, which is what many companies are resorting to now, what are the opportunities and potential use cases you see for Zoom?
Yeah, so I hope this pandemic crisis can end this very soon. My mom just did had a vaccine today actually. I think the day when we all go back, I think it's not like the same way as we worked before, right? We all needed to go back to office. Like recently, the Salesforce CEO, Mark Benioff, also announced, about the hybrid. I also believe that's a hybrid. So meaning, down the road, right? So employee or employer, we are going to make a decision either 2 or 3 days a week in the office or 2 or 3 days at home. So the hybrid will be a mainstream. Having said that, I think tools like Zoom will stay. When I work from home, let's say, Brian, you are in the office, I'm going to work from home. We still want to see each other, right? And however, when those employees, when they are all in the office, let's say they are in the conference room, I still want to have the same experience. How to make sure, the conference room experience, like a gallery view, right? You will see everyone in the conference room. Right? I think that experience also will stay no matter where you are. I think again, and I think the hybrid, will be the mainstream. A lot of new use cases will be built around that. Like take the office setup. I do not think like it before. You have all the cubicles, right? It's not like that. Very likely the office will become a place where you can social networking and enjoy gathering together.
Right. Okay. And with advancements in VR, AR, and 5G, how do you see these valuable technologies in enhancing the Zoom platform experience, right? In the medium to longer term, 5 to 7 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think our vision is that we believe the video communication like Zoom in the future can deliver a better experience than face-to-face meeting. Let's say take a 5G or AR technology or AI technology, for example. Like Brian, today, the first time we see each other, if we're in the physical world, I'm going to give you a big hug. But now I cannot do that. With AR technology, down the road, if I give you a big hug or shake your hands, you will feel my intimacy, right? Those technology will truly shape the experience of using, the video conferencing tools like Zoom.
Sure. Okay. So you could probably talk us through some of the favorite ways Zoom is enabling individuals, institutions, and global organizations to stay connected.
I think prior to pandemic crisis, Zoom was built mainly for the business customers or governments, right, for the business collaboration communication. But this pandemic crisis completely changed the way for any user to use Zoom, like even K-12 schools. And they also use Zoom for online classes. We offer the free service to more than 125,000 schools worldwide. Around 25 countries. India is a part of that. So K-12 schools use Zoom, or the wedding ceremony, or in New York, right? The Zoom marriage is legal. I think tons of new use cases. I like I joined the Zoom online class for yoga class. And a lot of consumer-driven use cases.
Sure. Okay. And obviously, as you go ahead, you're going to add some more features, right? So how does Zoom maintain its simplicity and ease of use while also introducing hundreds of new features and capabilities?
Yeah, Brian, that's a great question. Actually, prior to this meeting, I was on a call with our UI designer, UI designers, talk about the new user interface in the conference room. The key is we are going to add more and more features, but how to keep the simplicity? Because simplicity is the key. But we got to do balance, right? We got to look at everything from an end user perspective. It's very easy to add all the UI elements, to add more features, but very soon customer will say, my God, it's too hard to use. So how to balance that? Every day we spend a lot of time. That's our top priority. We do not have I would say the formula, how to simplify that, but we always listen to our customers. Did we make the product, harder to use? Did we make the UI more crowded, right? What we should do differently? So every day we think about that.
Right. Okay, let's step back from Zoom a bit and look at the state of innovation in the world today, right? How would you describe the state of innovation in the world today and also in Silicon Valley?
Yeah, so in terms of innovation, that's a key for any business, to survive and thrive, right? Without innovation, I think that today in the market, no matter what you do, there's so many competitors. That's why innovation is the key to drive your growth. So in terms of innovation culture, I think the Silicon Valley is still the #1 best place in terms of innovation. There's a reason why it's about the Silicon Valley culture. It does embrace diversity. No matter where you are coming from, as long as you have a dream, you work hard, you stay humble, keep improving, I think you will, be successful. So that's why, innovation is very important. You got to have a team with a different background, right? I think from that perspective, Silicon Valley is still probably #1 place. For sure, there's other places like Bangalore, like Tel Aviv. Also, there's a lot of great innovations, but overall, I think Silicon Valley is still the #1 best innovation place in the world.
Sure. And where would you place Zoom on a wide spectrum of innovation, right? So where would Zoom figure in your mind?
So first of all, it's not about we are going to establish a research team, right? And so think about something internally. So every day we spend more time with our customers, more time than any of our competitors. We wanted to understand what's the pain point from our customer, and then we'll come back to think about what we can do to come up with a solution, to be the first one to come up with a solution. And then that's the innovation. I give one example. Take up, this meeting, for example. Ideally, the customer told us, hey, I missed this meeting. Can you make sure you send me the meeting summary? Someone needed to write down the meeting summary. Why not leverage artificial intelligence to automatically generate a meeting summary? If we have that feature, that's innovation because requested by our customers.
Sure. You briefly mentioned India as a market, and India is probably one country outside of the US and Europe where you've set up an office, right? How important do you see India as a market, and what is it that strikes you about its potential?
It's very important because before I started Zoom, when I was at Cisco WebEx, we already had a team in Bangalore. I had a great experience working with the talent there. Today you look at our president of engineering and product, and Will Chami, he was born there. Our, chief operating officer, Aparna, she was also born there. So meaning we all have natural connections. And plus, you look at Bangalore or maybe other Chennai or other cities, a lot of talents, the great talents. I think, another reason is you look at our multinational companies, customers, almost everyone, they have office somewhere in India, right? So that's why, this is a natural, the choice for us, how to leverage more, how to count on talents in India to help us, keep growing our business, not only in India, but also other countries as well.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned that one of the key reasons for starting Zoom was to deliver happiness to customers, right? So that's a key pillar for Zoom. How would you explain that? How does Zoom go about delivering happiness to its user?
Yeah, first of all, to deliver happiness, that's our company culture. And on day one, we jotted down this is the company culture even today, and we talk about it every day. For me, as the CEO of the company, and along with every employees, we need to think about every day how to make sure we deliver happiness to our customer in terms of your service quality, in terms of listening to your customer carefully, in terms of make sure you charge a customer very fair, right? Don't charge them over price, right? So on many fronts, we need to think about it from end user perspective, right? In early days, I can tell you, even the individual paid subscribers, after they cancel the service, I personally send them an email, try to understand why, to make sure they are happy. If they are not happy, I really understand what we can do differently to win your trust back. So that's part of our company's overall culture, to look at everything from a customer perspective.
Sure. And of course, what is it that makes you happy? I mean, you have some staggering valuations and great revenue growth, particularly in 2020. But I'm sure happiness for you would mean something more than that. If you could.
Yeah, first of all, I like this industry, right? And I love what I'm doing. And it's very important because, that's why one of the reasons I'm happy, because I do not think that's hard work. I just enjoy doing that. That's one aspect. Another aspect is if I can make sure I make our employees happy, I'll be happier. Together, if we make our customer happy, I'm also happier. So overall, the purpose of life is to make others happy. Because, if you make others happy, you'll be happier. So that's a very simple, formula.
Right. And this 100 billion valuation and this net worth of yours, which is also in billions, I mean, is that like the icing on the cake, or is that?
No, not at all. If I was 25 years old, I would say, yeah, I was very happy. Now, given my age, those the power or money or those kind of things, will not move the needle. I do not think those kind of things are even important because not sustainable, right? So, the sustainable happiness, comes from making others happy. Money will not bring you your happiness.
Okay, that's a good note to end this conversation on. Thank you, Eric. Thank you once again. It's been splendid talking to you. And back to you, Shreya.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much, Eric and Brian. Money does not bring you happiness. Something to truly think about, right? What a lovely way to end that conversation. Mass scale disruption always comes with its upsides. Looking at the new ways of digital first and rapid change that has led to the last year, this conversation gives you insights into how businesses can future-proof themselves. And the learning of these past months and collectively can help understand sustainable business models for the long run and plans for the next normal.